welcome to all the participants of today's Artificial Intelligence webinar. It feels nice to have you all here. And thank you for coming. A bit about the House of Sultan Chand first. Pioneers in the field of book publishing in post-independent India, we cater to students from pre-primary to university level, churning out over 600 titles, besides adding new ones to our stable year after year. Known for competently written, elegantly produced, and reasonably priced books, our publications are widely prescribed in reputed schools and colleges across the country, as well as in some neighboring countries. Our authors are distinguished academicians, professors, and educationists with vast experience and expertise. We are proud to be associated with them. I now introduce you to the host of today's webinar, Dr. Sachin Gupta. Besides authoring artificial intelligence textbooks for classes 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and data science books for 9th and 10th, Dr. Gupta is Dean, Research and Innovation, Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Technology, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi. It's a matter of pride for us that Dr. Gupta's latest book on AI, Decoding Artificial Intelligence, has won the Outstanding Contribution to AI Literature Award recently. We congratulate him for this achievement. Besides, Dr. Gupta has also been HOD Computer Science Engineering and MCA Department, Dronacharya Group of Institutions, Deputy Director and Head, Computer Science Department, Chandraprabhu Jain College of Higher Studies, affiliated to GGSIPU, Delhi. With a teaching experience of over 22 years, which includes teaching undergraduate and postgraduate students and researchers, Dr. Gupta's academic pursuits have been fairly meritorious, winning him several awards, distinctions, scholarships, including the Certificate of Academic Excellence by GGSIPU. Dr. Gupta has also contributed to various journals, conferences, and books for schools and higher education, both nationally and internationally. His achievements are truly commendable. I now request Dr. Gupta to take you through today's session. Thank you. Dr. Sachin Gupta.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, sir. So, today's session is for teachers, and we have been working very hard to bring everything up to speed because the new session is going to be up soon, and teachers require a lot of time to prepare beforehand when the session starts. So, fortunately for us, the changes in class 10th curriculum this time, they are something that are delightful. I'll just share my screen for the presentation of today, and we'll take you. I hope my screen is visible. I'm audible, everyone?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, AI CBSE Class 10 syllabus is having some revisions. And the best part about them is that there are visual labs which were missing earlier. So that would be one highlight of the session today. I have already been introduced by Manmohan sir. Teaching since 22 years, all programming languages starting from basic COBOL, Python, Java, web, a lot of it, but artificial intelligence now. And we feel that AI is moving so fast that I apprehend that there would be more revisions of the syllabus soon. So I extend a very warm welcome to all the teachers who have already joined the bandwagon of teaching AI. You have made yourself almost irreplaceable. So for those who are yet to catch up, it would be a very tricky situation because every school, every class, in fact, not just class 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th, they will be requiring people to brush up AI skills, irrespective of whether you are a computer science teacher, whether you are a social science teacher, whether you are a Hindi teacher or an English teacher, you will be using artificial intelligence tools. So it's always good to brush up on your skills. So I was telling that the summary of the curriculum change is that you will love the changes, whatever CBSE has brought in. They have teamed up with an industry conglomerate, which who is helping them frame the syllabus. The complete syllabus additional needs are not much. That you'd be requiring, in addition, 3 to 4 practical hours and 3 to 4 theory hours, in addition to what we were doing earlier with teaching. But one tool which they have added is very essential, very important also. The learning curve for the tool in question is very smooth. So it took me just a couple of hours to get familiar. Not that I have gained expertise over the tool yet. It's very vast. But for whatever we require to teach in class 10, we would certainly be having absolutely no issues with this. All right. Then the first part we want to share is that we have already shared it on the WhatsApp groups we are associated with. So the complete syllabus we'll be sharing with all the participants in the workshop. With Unit 1, we have added revisiting AI project lifecycle. Project lifecycle was already discussed in detail. But in addition, CBSE has recommended bioethics to be taught to the students. Bioethics is a popular framework in the healthcare industry. And in today's session, we'll see what is the relevance of having that curriculum added. Then in the modeling in AI, we were already discussing supervised, unsupervised, and deep learning model. We have been tasked to add in subcategories also that with supervised, unsupervised, and deep learning models, what subcategories are there. So this distinction was coming up in class 11 earlier in detail, but we have just brought in a summary of what to expect in class 11 by introducing the subcategories in class 10. In Unit 3, evaluating models, the major pipeline of the machine learning was already available, but we are just simply adding an evaluation by train and test split method. That what is the method? Why do we split the data into training and testing data set? And then what are the different ways we would be able to assess that how our model is growing? So this part is also covered in theory. Two numericals which we have added for accuracy and error. So this was previously uncovered in any of the textbooks, was not available in class 9, 10, because the specific metrics of evaluation were there, but accuracy and error in general, this time CBSE has introduced. So we'll be having numericals on this. Unit 4 or statistical data is almost a new unit that we were already studying parts of statistics, what is the importance of statistics and probability in machine learning and artificial intelligence. But this time CBSE added a no-code tool and identification of low-code AI, which was very much needed because AI was previously considered that only commerce, only science students would pick up, those who have computer science in their basic curriculum. They'll be happy to have AI. But this tool is, it makes it possible for any person, irrespective of what is the domain they are studying, be it a commerce student, be it a humanities student, they will all be able to pick up artificial intelligence as a subject. So in fact, the low code tool which we are going to discuss today, will be doing a lot of machine learning without writing a single line of code today. So for a no-code AI project, we have introduced case studies in the supplement, which would be a part of the main textbook again. Computer vision was already there, but again, using the no code tool, we have added a case study on how to study computer vision without writing a single line of code in Python or any other programming language. Similarly, NLP unit was already there, but some jargons that were there associated with NLP have been introduced because they keep coming through the literature and the students do not understand that. So concepts like lexicon, syntax, semantics, and logical analysis, all of this have been brought in the curriculum. So that lay the foundation for when they study the same concepts in class 11. In practicals, we have added natural language processing with a use case. So the sentiment analysis process with a real life data set on Orange data mining is additional. Advanced Python remains the same. So Python practicals, as you have covered in the last year, they would be exactly the same. But as I said, there would be three additional practicals they can do without coding. One in the domain of machine learning, the other in computer vision, and third in NLP. So let's get into the details. I hope there are no queries so far related to this. If there are any queries, you may please post them to my chat window. I'll be happy to have them. So bioethics is the first thing that has been introduced. Bioethics basically deals with study of ethical issues and principles that arise in biology, medicine, and healthcare. So my first question, in fact, to myself was that how does the world of biology, medicine, and life and death connect to artificial intelligence? I mean, when I started thinking about how to bring in a good concepts for teachers to work in, I myself was confused as a teacher. But then I realized that majority of the AI applications are benefiting biology, the domains of biology like drug discovery, like identification of diseases or symptoms. And both AI and bioethics involve and impact real life decisions, human beings, and they are both requiring a good deal of ethical decision making. So as AI is increasingly becoming embedded in healthcare today, bioethics has been added. It's a very small unit component that has been added, including what are the four core principles of bioethics. And then we have related it to artificial intelligence using a simple case study that the teachers would be able to pursue in their classroom to assess the student understanding that whether or not they understand the four core principles of bioethics and their application. So this is from the first part. From the second part, the subcategories of machine learning are introduced. So previously we had supervised learning model, unsupervised learning model, and deep learning in the curriculum. Now we have added classification models specifically in short details, regression models specifically in short details, clustering and associations again as subcategories in unsupervised learning model in short detail. No implementations for any of these here except for low code. And then deep learning again split into artificial neural networks and convolutional neural networks for images and patterns that is CNN specific. So in the book, we have added core principles of all four discussion and also the real life examples of where you would be able to see that these things are happening in real life, in applications, in apps, in your smartphone. A lot of examples have been introduced there. Then the third major change is Orange data mining tool. So Orange data mining tool basically is an open source machine learning and data visualization tool. When I used Orange 5 years back, it was purely a data visualization tool. There were no machine learning capabilities in it. It was very good for data visualization even back then. But now it has added the capabilities of machine learning, computer vision, sentiment analysis, statistics, and a lot more. So this is a tool that is going to make your class very interesting because teachers were struggling with that. What kind of project should we give to the students? They cannot code. They haven't learned machine learning coding yet. They understand the concept, but there is a problem of identifying what is the kind of project they can do without having introduced to all the machine learning algorithm and so forth. So for this specific reason, Orange data mining has come as a very useful tool that a student must be only able to understand the concept. One, they should understand the concept of data, that what data are we applying the machine learning on. Given this understanding only, they would be able to comfortably create projects which they can showcase. You can even call hackathons in your schools with Orange data mining, where you can ask the students to solve certain challenges. It would be very interesting bringing it in class 10th. So this is what we are going to discuss right away. Let us move to Orange data mining tool. The first thing is how do you get it? As I said, this is an open source machine learning tool. So you would be having it available on Orange data mining website, right? You can download it for Windows, where it's an executable file. It's a portable installation also for Windows. You can simply not install, just extract the archive and open the shortcut in the extracted folder. That's all. For my machine, I have already have a Orange for Apple Silicon uh, inserted. Okay. Yeah, Subhashini. So previous slide, we have the subcategories of machine learning. We are discussing supervised and unsupervised machine learning models with their subcategories and deep learning with its subcategories. That is all here. So you'll find a lot of content in the textbook. For Orange data mining, you would be requiring to work with three parts here: machine learning, computer vision, and sentiment analysis. That would be with the practicals. Download it here, install comfortable. If you are working on Linux, it is again good. I'll show you how to where is it available otherwise also. So if you have already installed Anaconda for your machine learning and Python requirements, then Anaconda also has a link to, yes, I'm just bringing that, Suhasini. First way is go to orangedatamining.com. I am typing that here. You can pick your tools from Windows if you are running Windows. If you are running Mac, then it can be installed easily. If you are having Linux, then you would be following the steps here. If you already use Anaconda, then in Anaconda, it is again available as a tool, but you can install from within Anaconda also. So there are different ways to install. If you do not want to install on a Windows machine, because the installation may take a lot of effort and time, you may simply download this portable Orange. It's a zip file, extract it to any place in your Windows. It contains a shortcut to the actual tool which you can use directly. So it runs without installation also. I hope that answers your query. So let's take down to Orange. Um, this is a little hard experiment that I was working with earlier today. I'm starting with computer vision because the data is pretty heavy. So I had to keep this running, otherwise, this takes a small amount of lag to process. I'll create it exactly the same way as it is. Okay. So initially, when you are going to open Orange, you will have some bars available. I'll show you which one. So you will have evaluate, unsupervised. Okay. Only these will be available initially when you install Orange. Please listen to it very carefully. So initially, Orange gives you by default only these tabs. So you go to options, click on add-ons, and in add-ons, you have multiple more packages available. So what you would require for class 10th is image analytics is necessary that you would have to add on. And then text is also necessary, that is an add-on, because both of them would be required for the practical. I have added some more because I needed to study them or to work with them. But for maximum usage in class 10, you would require two specifically. One is image analytics, that is necessary, and the other is text, that is absolutely essential. Okay, so you may just find them and add. I hope there are no queries about this. So use options, click on add-ons, select image analytics and text. This would actually help to bring in image analytics would be added as a new tab, and text mining would also be added as a new tab. So beneath image analytics, all the tabs that you are looking at, they were all add-ons that I have added after initially having only the first 6 tabs available. Correct. So how does this work? I'll take an example of flower classification. I'll show you the data set first so that you will be able to see. So this is the data set that we have. There are some images, each one of them labeled with the class. So they are daisy, then there are roses, then there are tulips, and so forth. Before I brought them on the Orange tool, they were on my machine. So check out this archive folder. It has training data containing 5 sets of folders which have images on daisy, dandelion, roses, sunflowers, and tulips. Just the images. You may have all of them in a single folder, doesn't matter. You may have all of them in different folders, that is also good. But all of them should be labeled if you are doing a image classification kind of thing. So the first thing that we do is drag and drop a widget. What you see here in every tab are called widgets. Each of these widgets is draggable. So you can just drag and drop. So from the import images, and this widget is also clickable. You click on it and you can choose which folder do you want it to pick up. So for my case, I wanted to pick up the training data. That data is already imported here. Right? If you see the widget after importing, it would also show you what images has it imported now. So you can see there are 2,746 total images in my data, which I have imported. All right. So simple application, click on the widget, pick the folder where your images are, select that folder, and your job is done. Right. So second part is that I want to view whatever I have imported. So let us suppose I want to see what I have imported. I'll add a widget. called image viewer. I'll click here, draw a line connecting both of them. When the red mark goes, the image viewer shows me all the images which I have just imported. It also shows beneath the same table which we had earlier. And you can see what is the category of the image. If you want to see the size of the image, it shows you. If you want to see the width of the image or the height of the image, it shows you the different attributes. So for each image, you can select the category or the image name or the, so you may select the category part, that is easy. Now, you can reduce or increase the image sizes here. So image viewer is a widget which just simply allows you to see what you have introduced. I also want to see what is the data associated with this image. So I add in another widget using the data tab and try to visualize in a data format that what does this contain. So you can see what is the category, what is the name of the image, what is the location and the file name, size of the image, width and height. So far, so good. This is the normal parameters that are associated with any image. We always see images as having width and a height because that is about the resolution of an image. And we also have a category here that is the label of the image. So this data table can be added and you can see. Now comes the interesting part is that any machine learning model, can be working only with vectors. So internally, when we work with teachable machine, it would convert everything to a vector. When we work with any coding model also, we have to convert the images to vector representation. And for that, we have a widget called image embedding. I'll show you that how much time would it take. If I had to introduce it now, I would simply connect to image embedding. Now, this takes a lot of time to work. So it's a data intensive application. All right. For this image embedding, it has completed. Let us see what does this contain. So to see that, I'll associate another data table with it, connect it. And now this data table not only contains the previous data which we had earlier, but also there are 2048 features which it has extracted from every image. So see how intensive your machine learning with images is, that there are 2048 features which it collects from each image before it starts to classify them. So this is something that is interesting. You can tell your student that internally how machine learning model work is by creating an embedding of the image, and then you can see those embeddings on your data table. All right. I hope there are no queries still on the chat. Nothing. Thank you. Moving ahead, what do we do next is that we want to evaluate.
There are
We
two.
want, yes,
There,
sir.
there are two queries.
Okay, let me pick them up. Oh. How to download Orange tool that we already did. Yes. Image analytics and text. Yes. What is the minimum configuration required for Orange? Lita ma'am, we had a very clear application of Orange even with Windows when you do not require to install. It simply works. So that means most of the laptops would be able to work comfortably with it. Any machine with i3 or above, the question would come that how much data you are willing to work with. If my data files are heavy, like I had introduced 2700 images here, that was roughly around 250 MB of data. So I require a good amount of RAM, but minimum configuration, it would be working with your usual school lab computers comfortably. There are a lot of tools, Pooja ma'am, but this is recommended by CBSE. One. The second thing is that this is something very intuitive. I, as a teacher, am enjoying Orange very much. So you would love to use it. Yeah, RAM is required. If your RAM in the laptop or desktop is there, if you are working with very small image models like 15, 20, 30 images, it might work with lesser also, but recommended is that because if your system configuration is very low, then even the files it requires to load, they might become a problem. Next question is that whether we can upload the Excel or PDF. We will certainly do that today itself. Right? Yes, we will do it. I'm working with images. Then we'll come to the next part. So let me keep my chat window here only so that I'll be able to see anything comes up. So after image embedding, we want to apply a classification model to it. All right. Now, in the evaluate tab, we have a test and score widget. The test and score, if you will hover on it, it shows you that it takes in inputs some data, some test data. It takes in input a learner and a preprocessor. I'll explain both. I'll stop here for a while. Test and score पे बाद में आएंगे because there is an important question which comes. So, how to download the image data set? First question. Let us take it. So you can say search for flower image data set. On Kaggle, there is a flowers data set. Copy it. You click on download, it is going to give you a full-blown data set for images here. All right. So I'm just pasting the link for the image data set that I have used today in the chat. You require a Kaggle account to download that. That would be necessary. First part covered. Second part, image embedding is okay. So, Subhasini ma'am, any machine learning model for any purpose that you use, whether it is based on data science, whether it is based on computer vision, whether it is based on natural language processing, we have to convert the data into numeric form. Now, conversion of categorical data was also required to numerical form. We do one-hot encoding or some other methods of encoding. Conversion of image data to numerical form is basically the way of that an image would have some features like edges, then there are edges connecting to each other or some contrast. So all of those information that an image contains, we want to convert it to a numeric form. So in that numeric form, we create vectors which contain all the information about an image in the form where a machine learning algorithm can be applied on it. So without converting the data to an embedding or without even for text, we require to convert it to an embedded form. So text embeddings are also required whenever we are doing NLP. So embeddings are machine learning's way of converting the data from the human readable form to a form where a machine learning algorithm would be able to read it. All right. I hope that helps. Moving on ahead. So the next part was that we wanted to take up machine learning. We wanted to apply classification to the images that we have just done. I would not be able to apply classification to the image directly. I have to convert it to embedding. And after embedding, the next widget which I have test and score is a very important widget. It does two things. One, it takes in input the data that I want to apply machine learning on. It takes in input a learner also. This learner is my machine learning algorithm. So let us remove both the learners for now. Whatever data I am passing on, that goes to test and score. This would be able to apply machine learning. These are three tasks: apply machine learning, test it on some sample data, and finally evaluate how my model is working. तो अब ये तीनों चीजों के लिए मुझे दो चीजों की रिक्वायरमेंट है. फर्स्ट इज एम्बेडिंग टू डेटा दैट आई हैव. सेकंड इज फ्रॉम द मॉडल tab now I will pick up logistic regression as one machine learning application. I connect it to test and score. You see this start getting populated the moment I apply the. So this would take some amount of time to run the machine learning model, learn about the data, and then apply those learning. So because I have a big batch of roughly 2500 images here, it takes a good amount of time to run the algorithm, learn from the data, apply classification, right? And classification, has got, it can be assessed by using that true positive, true negative, false positives, and false negative, or a confusion matrix is the one evaluation parameter we apply with classification. So with logistic regression, we could later add, I'm just removing the parts from this part onwards. So from test and score, draw a line out, click on confusion matrix. This adds one evaluation method. From this out, click on ROC analysis. That gives you another method of evaluating. Check out this confusion matrix which it has created. So you can select correct. This is the correct part on the diagonal. So out of 300 daisies, 200 daisies were correctly classified as 277 were correctly classified. Then from dandelions, 358 were correctly classified out of 388 and so forth. Now we see select misclassified. So it shows you the grayed out area. These are misclassified. Select one. Let us say this is one. So this was actually a sunflower which my model predicted as a daisy. So this made a mistake, right? So you can see that this is one method of understanding how my model is working. The second is the ROC analysis. ROC analysis draws a graph. So area under the curve with ROC is a very good tool to check out what you are trying to work with. All right, I keep it on true positive and false positive, both are threshold. Now another thing that I can do is I want to compare that whether logistic regression is good or whether there can be another method. So I applied it another method called, let us say, random forest. And I take in random forest also to the same classification. It runs the algorithm again, creates a confusion matrix, but now it has not got one. It has got two confusion matrix instead of one. One is performing better, one may be not performing so well. So what you require usually is a I would now try to evaluate it with something else. Let us see what is the test and score first. So these are the parameters which we teach our students also. So you see for logistic regression, the AUC is 987. This is 936 for random forest. So random forest is lagging behind in all the parameters. This is from test and score. If you click on it, then confusion matrix is also confirming the same. For logistic regression, the number of errors are less, but for random forest, the number of errors are more. So you can confirm with this. For ROC analysis is a very important tool here, because now you can see from the graph that the area under the curve for random forest is having lesser area under the curve, but for logistics it's having a higher area under the curve. So this gives you a with analysis of both the models together. Now I want to see which images did it misclassify. So I can put in another image viewer here after the confusion matrix, connect to it. And from the classification, let us say I see which sunflowers did it misclassify. So here was actually it was dandelion, but it was predicted as sunflower. So after selecting it, let us go back to image viewer. It shows you that these dandelions were, so the actual image, uh, the category was dandelion, but what my machine learning model categorized it as was sunflower. So that was a mistake. So this is why it has shown that the image viewer is now showing that which mistakes were there. So you can similarly select the rows which was misclassified and go back and see the image viewer. So this is neither Daisy nor, so initially it was given the category of a rose, but it was not even a rose. So my model is not doing so bad. The data in fact is itself bad. Correct. So this is some way that you would be able to apply machine learning for image classification. I'm going back to the chat window again. If there is anything coming more. Okay. Uh, Kartika, this was the one big mistake which I did earlier. So I'm going to keep random forest here. I'll delete this. No, I'll take from image embedding, place it to logistic regression. Right. So orange does what? That this test and score is clubbing two capabilities together. It feeds the learner the data, that whatever training that we require has to be on data. The model has to learn on data. Your query is absolutely perfect, that we should have fed the data to the algorithm and then fed the output of that to this. Unfortunately, their work is that they have added the training part in this only. So we feed the data and the model both here. Learning takes place. That goes to the test and score, which takes it further. So logistic regression does require data to take place, but the data is happening. This part is happening here. Even before going to test and score, it would take the embedding and data, club them with the learner, apply both of them together, give it to test and score, and go forth. So you will see this coming in another application also. Okay. So let's go ahead. Shall I close this part for image analytics? We'll take it to some other model now. So I'll open a different file. Let me save this one. This takes a lot to run. So let us open another something that I did was loan classification. No. Yeah. So I had a query about CSV. You already know how to work with drag and drop of the widget. I'll show you how this works so that you would be able to work better with this. All right. So first thing first, I have the file widget here. If you wanted a CSV file, PDFs I haven't tried. So one query was in the chat window that you asked that whether we can use PDF. Yeah, upload the Excel or PDF files and analyze. I would recommend picking up a CSV. CSV is a universal format. Any data analytics tool that you are working with, it would usually have CSV format. So CSV is working good. Second part is this file tab. When you double click, there are some default data sets available. So I'm not even downloading any data set. I'm using from the available data set for the demo, and you can use the same data sets from the demo itself. Then I'll see the data because here I have chosen the heart disease data set. जिसमें आपके ये फीचर्स है, there is a gender, chest pain, some problems with this. Whether there is a heart disease or not is the classification that we are trying to do based on the symptoms of the uh, person. So data table contains these things. I'm closing the chat for a while. So your data table contains the age, gender, chest pain is there, SBP, cholesterol, blood sugar, ECG, and so forth. With all these details, we are simply trying to predict whether a person would be having a heart disease or not. So second thing, what we do normally is that we have to identify a target variable. So in our data set, there was no target. There is, yes, there is a target that the diameter of narrowing, that if your heart wall's diameter narrows, there would be a problem of stroke, otherwise not. So in any regression-based model or classification-based model which is working with numerical values, you have to pick one target and the remaining are your features. So data sampler does what? This is a new tool available with transform tab. Bring a data sampler. From the data table, connect the data sampler. The data sampler allows you to break your data into 70-30. This is what we do with the train and test split. So we take 70% of the data for training and we take the 30% of data for testing. So out of 303, our data gets split into 213 and 90. So you would have data sample and the remaining data that we are not using for now, that would be used for testing. So far so good, no problem. So data sampler does what? It just simply samples our data or converts our data into training and test split. Okay. From data sampler, we want to take the sample of data to test and score as we did earlier. So I can remove the learners from here. Let us remove this. Let us remove this also, remove this also. Okay. Test and score widget also. We'll add everything now. So deleted everything. Data sampler was splitting our data into. Fine. We have to select columns that what is our target. So select column में the target that we are having is diameter narrowing. Automatically it picks from the data that this is the target. If it was not there, we would simply be dragging this down from here to the target. That's all. So this is my target variable. Select column is available from the transform again, which particular column you want to hold the target value. After this, I would like to apply a test and score. So test and score, as I originally said, takes in two parts. One, it takes the data. Second, it takes the learner. So from the learners, we want to apply logistic because the classification problem. Let us apply logistic regression here. And see, this categorizes the AUC, F1 score, precision, recall, everything is available here. From this, I want to take it down to a confusion metric that which were correct, which were wrong. So you can see that misclassified actual was predicted, actual was 1, predicted was 0, and actual was 0, predicted was 1. But there is a fairly good number of values which were correctly classified also. I may want to apply another maybe random forest to this and check out the comparison. So for this random forest does a lot good, better as compared to logistic regression. Its recall is better, its precision is better, its F1 score is better, and overall you can see in the confusion metric that the random forest is having lesser number of errors, both ways. I also want to create a ROC, AUC curve, so I may say ROC. Select a widget from here and add. So your ROC analysis for both the classifiers is available now, right? From test and score, you can also see the predictions, you can see the data table which it is giving, feature stats. Even for the data, if you want to see what are the statistics of the features, so you go to the statistical part of the model. Here, I want to see the distributions of how my data is distributed. Click on this, and for each of these, it is going to show you what are the distributions available in our data. So the part where we had to previously understand how my data look like, even that part we'll be able to add in. Right? You can draw a bar plot, line plots, scatter plots. There are a lot of diagrams that you can do with the data. So I hope this part is again clear. If there are any queries, I am having the chat window open. You can experiment with the data. You may bring your own data as well. You may import a CSV file. I'll show you how to do a CSV file import. Let me open a file. Say, let me check if I have a CSV file stored. Okay. So AutoMPG is a file which has got some data for car. Okay. Done. This file is imported. I may want to see what I have imported with a data table. So connect it to a data table. Look at the data that you have had. All right. And from that, you can go ahead with the same way that you had previously done. So yes, CSV files can be there. Data sets are available. You can even import from SQL. And if I want to see the feature statistics of this data table, so this statistical part you can bring to your student. What was the mean of the features in miles per gallon? What was the mode, median, dispersion, minimum and maximum values? If there are missing values in my data, that would be shown here. So there are no missing values in the complete. So for each of the features, you can see a feature statistic part that also works. So no queries here. Fine. Thank you so much. Let us take it to the third most important part for the day. That is about sentiment analysis. So this also I opened today itself. This is running. As we opened the file, this just actually ran through whatever we were working on. So here we did a CSV file import. What I imported was, I'll show you the file. I created a file on the tweets coming from Delhi election. So we just selected 45 tweets, nothing more. each with a hashtag, some positive, some negative, some neutral, and so forth. Then I downloaded this file as a CSV in Orange Data Mining Tool. This is on my machine. So you would be able to see that the file was in downloads with Delhi election tweets, right? The same file which I have imported. So click on this, select the file, import the file, and you would be able to select your file. That part being over. Now let us say that we want to see what is in the file. So I would take it to a corpus. A corpus is a term where we say whatever data that we are willing to work with in NLP, that becomes a part of the corpus. Corpus may have had more parts also, but now I go to the text mining tab, pick up the corpus, import all the data from the CSV file to the corpus, and look at that the corpus has now got 45 instances, yeah, 45 rows, and no missing features. I don't see what is in the corpus. So add another widget, click on corpus viewer. This gives you a very good idea about what is there in the corpus. So it shows you that tweet with ID 1 has some value, tweet with ID 2 has some other values, and so forth. Completed this. I am removing this part because both of them are available in my previous work. So corpus viewer we understood. After that we pre-process the text. Pre-processing, you see transformation, tokenization, normalization, filtering, POS tagging, all of that can be done. So my transformation was I wanted everything to be lowercase first, remove accents. If there was HTML, I would have passed the HTML also. I may want to do a word punctuation or white space or sentence or regular expression. It could be any of the pre-trained ways that you can split by words and keep the punctuation. You can split by white spaces, you can split only by sentences, or you can split by regular expression. So I have just created a regular expression where anytime a new word comes, a blank space comes, it splits into tokens. I want to check, remove all the tokens in stop words, then keep only token present in a file, remove all the numbers which are token, and then remove everything which is included in this regular expression. All right. So these are some of the parameters which I use for pre-processing. After pre-processing, my job is done. You will check the bag of words yourself, what did it create. But from pre-processing, I take it to a sentiment analysis. The sentiment analysis have got multiple models available. So you may have a model from Liu Hu or Vader. Vader is very commonly used. Multilingual sentiment, if you have multiple uh, languages, like my tweets are in Hindi, they are in English, they may be in Bangla also, they may be French, German. So this would work better that way, or any of the chosen. And you may choose a custom dictionary also if you have created a list of positive words and negative words and you want to compare with that using the sentiment analysis. So we have chosen Vader here. After the sentiment analysis, I see what happens. With my data table, where there were only tweets, now come four more columns that positive, what portion of this tweet was positive, what portion was negative, what portion was neutral, and compounded, what is the total score. So this it does for each one of them. I want to see it better in the corpus viewer. So during you use the corpus viewer to see that for the tweet 2, what portion is neutral, is it positive, or I may want to display all the features. So for tweet 2, the total positive component was 0.618, total negative was 0, neutral was 0.382, and compounded for all three is 0.834. This is a positive sentiment. Wherever there would be something negative, let us find something negative. Here. So here, past struggle overshadows real problem. There is nothing positive in it. 0.556 is negative. So compounded, this is considered to be a negative tweet. Similarly, for this, there is false hopes. This should have been negative, right? So you can see that infrastructure problems remain unaddressed has a negative component and overall negative. So this was again another way how you could see the sentiment analysis. And finally, I add a word cloud from there. Where the word cloud?
अरे यही रहा है यही
Okay, let us. If I don't find it, what I'll do is this: check for word cloud widget, and that works. So you'll be able to create a very cool word cloud also at the end of this. All of these can be brought down to your practical examination, right? Some people would ask that how do we bring in tweets into this instead of this if I want to do a Twitter sentiment analysis. So for that you would require to import the tweet widget. सिर्फ ये वाला portion change होगा. Instead of CSV file import, we'll take Twitter. You would require a API key here. So for that, what we will do is we will go to Twitter, developer.x.com. We will register here. We will request them tweet, and then we'll request them for API. This simply allows you a bearer token. This is the copy that I needed to use. So I copy this bearer token. In the Twitter API key, I have to put the bearer token again. And then I may be able to search for tweets related to. Now I might have consumed my entire quota for today. If not, yes, it has given me 100 tweets on this topic. Let us see what is there in my Twitter feed. So from that to the corpus, from corpus to the corpus viewer, and in the corpus viewer, I think there is a lot of like Reverie culture or essential welfare. People have written all kind of tweets. This is Hindi, English both. I may do what? I may first pre-process the text to remove everything. Right. After pre-processing, I may want to apply a sentiment analysis to it. From the sentiment analysis, I choose the multilingual sentiment method, and then I would simply post a corpus viewer here. So you can see there would be different types of token, and you may create a word cloud later, which would be converting whatever you have. So I hope these three parts of your orange sentiment analysis versus computer vision versus data science, all three you would be able to work out within your own lab scenario. Okay, going back to my presentation. So this is what we have covered. I wanted to also share that we have a exclusive group for artificial intelligence teachers where we answer queries, where we help each other out with query questions, and there are very frequent interactions happening. So anybody who wants to add that, join that group, please request Ashish sir to add with your phone number. And together we work better as teachers. There would be a lot of challenges for each one of us individually, but we can address all of them. So any question that you want to send, they can be sent on my email ID. I typically reply within 3 hours when I get a mail. Or if there is a WhatsApp then you can address it to the group, a WhatsApp group for teachers, or you can address directly to me. And I'm just uh, keeping the session open for any question that you may have. We have 10 minutes for any questions. If there are none, then we will close the session. If you want to ask, you may open your mic as well. And
Sir, we have to work out on it and then we'll get back to you because we need to understand first. Right now, you have explained all the things, but we have to
absolutely,
try each option.
absolutely, no
Could you
problem.
please share that data sets which you have been used so that it will be easy for us to at least go through what you have
Please,
conveyed.
please do. Orange has a very vast library of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So they have their own channel. They have given solved examples for each type of query that we may have. And in fact, I also learned through them. So
Okay.
it would be any problem that you face that I'll be very happy to help with. Ashish sir, are there any queries on YouTube? Because
Sir,
you
can
are
you
also
please
like,
share your email too?
okay, my email is, you have both the email IDs. I'm posting them on the chat window if you want.
Chat so that it becomes easy for us.
Yeah, sachin.gupta@methodai.com and sachin.gupta@made.ac.in. Or you can actually share the queries to SCS. We have the email IDs already available, scs@sultanchandbooks.com or Ashish Agarwal, ashi.agarwal@sultan-chand.com. Okay, so for joining the WhatsApp group, please WhatsApp the faculty details to Ashish ji. He has shared his phone number on the group chat.
Sir, can we get the books of this particular chapters which you are or
Come again?
can you get can we get a particular chapters which you are explaining now? Okay.
I think.
Yes, ma'am. We are working on it, and it'll be sent to you by the team that reaches out to you on regular basis. So they will
Very
provide.
fast, very soon.
Over.
Thank you, Lita. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sachin Gupta, for this informative session as always, which I'm sure will put teachers' doubts, if any, at rest. As Sachin sir has told you, that we have a WhatsApp group, rather quite a few groups, which you can join for the latest updates or your queries that can be handled. And for that, we have shared the phone numbers as well. Please do join and get benefited. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining in. Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Thank you.